Hi everybody, welcome back. I am Crystal Cloud with Damsel in Defense. I'm an independent Damsel pro for them. We sell personal protective equipment for adults and alarms and other protection for kids. And we also have a family educational line called Safe Hearts. So this is the second video I'm doing. If you see the live up there, you're watching this video live. If not, welcome to the replay. Before you let your kids watch this video with you, please watch it yourself. Some of these have sensitive topics and sensitive information, and I just want you to be prepared to have that conversation with your kids. So the Safe Heart storybook line, this is one of them. This is the one I'm going to read right now, called Madison's Big Brother. This is about saying no. So the Safe Heart defenders are characters in this book. They're an interdimensional superhero for kids, and they work together, and they'll freeze time at a certain point in each of the books to help kids make the right choice. So the last book I read was about the buddy system, and this one is about saying no. So the Heart defenders are Simon, who's 9, Tomas, who's 4, Elizabeth, who's 12, and Faith, who is 8. And this book has Elizabeth in it, and Elizabeth is 12. Elizabeth is the brave and bold member of the club, always bringing secrets to light. She will lead you to a safe person and show you the gift of courage to tell when something has happened. So there's resources online, and I'm going to post those resources on my business page, so that there's coloring pages and there's other activities that you can do through the Safe Hearts. There's a separate website just for Safe Hearts through Damsel in Defense, so that you can look at all those resources with your kids and decide what you want to do. There's little puzzles and games and things like that. So, of course, I wanted to read the story because I think the information is important, but we also have a special right now, started today. So what the special is, you can buy, there's a boy bundle and there's a girl bundle. And the bundles are $55 each. They include 5 books. So this one is in the girl bundle. The book that I read before is in the boy bundle. So there's 5 books, which are regularly $11 each. So you're getting 5 books for $55. Okay. You're getting our Safe Hearts dish set, the Safe Hearts lunch pail that has a puzzle in it. You're getting all 4 Safe Hearts Defender badges, which are in the stories. And there was something else. I know I'm missing something else. Oh well. I'm sure I'll put it in there. Oh, a parent's guide. I really do strongly suggest using the parent's guide. It's got a lot of great information in there on how to talk to your kids about tricky situations and tricky people. We don't use the term stranger danger in our education because oftentimes children are hurt or lured or coerced by someone that they know, because it's just simply easier to get to coerce a child and be a predator with a child that you know. So again, if you're watching this live, make sure that you watch it first and then watch it with your kids. So I'm going to read the book. This is Madison's Big Brother, a Say No Kidversation. Madison had been Isabella's best friend since the 2nd grade, and now they were starting middle school together as 7th graders. The girls went to Madison's house every day after school to study together. Isabella's dad felt that it was safer than having her go home alone to their apartment. You can see, look at that big house. Madison's big brother Ben was a sophomore in high school and would be around to supervise and hang out with the girls until their parents got home. Isabella really loved hanging out at Madison's house. They had every video gaming system you could imagine, a big screen TV taller than she was, a trampoline, and a swimming pool. It was the best. Everyone at school knew that Madison was a bookworm. Recently, she'd started staying after school to help with the class newspaper. Isabella was pretty excited because that gave her one day each week to play video games with Ben all afternoon long. He always had the coolest and newest games to play. Plus, he was so funny, and he always let her win. Isabella wished she had her own big brother, but she was glad that at least she had Ben. After all, it was sort of like having a big brother of her very own. When Madison would come bursting through the door after a long day of what she dramatically called slaving away at the layout, she would scrunch up her face as she teased Isabella and Ben, saying, gamers or lamers. That always made Isabella blush. She would hurriedly thank Ben for the fun afternoon and tromp off with her best friend to get the scoop on the latest newsworthy drama from school. They all are. One afternoon, Isabella walked in the door and noticed the big screen TV was off. She thought, did he forget? In here, she heard Ben yell from his room down the hall. Are you sick? Am I going to have to do homework instead? Isabella asked in a disappointing voice. Just get in here, Ben replied. Isabella leaned against the doorway. Ben was sitting in front of his computer in boxer shorts and socks. She thought to herself, that's kind of weird. Look what came in the mail today. Ben looked back at her with a huge grin. Clothes? Isabella asked shyly. Ben looked down and shrugged. Psh, boxers are technically just shorts. You would understand if you were a guy. Thankfully, I'm not, Isabella replied. She rolled her eyes, still standing in the doorway, aware she was feeling uncomfortable. Come see what I just got. Ben stood up and pushed the chair her way. On the screen, Isabella saw the home menu of Legend of Dark Mill. Is that? How did you get? Her eyes widened with excitement. Yes, Ben cut her off. It's Legend of Dark Mill. You can't even buy it yet. I got a copy from a friend of mine who knows a guy who knows a guy. He's letting me borrow it for a few days. No way, Isabella screamed. So we get to play it before everyone else? This was so cool. In her mind, she was already fast-forwarding to telling her friends about this at school the next day. Come over here and play with me, Ben laughed. Isabella stopped for a moment. Clothes first, please? Get over it already, he laughed, picking her up and plopping her in the chair. Suddenly, a boy in his underwear sitting next to her didn't matter as much as playing the game. Although something in her heart felt like it was whispering, "Get out of here," she ignored it. About half an hour passed, and Isabella was totally lost in the excitement of the game. She didn't even notice that Ben had made his way closer and was squished up against her. Then he quietly asked, "Have you ever kissed a boy, Isabella?" Isabella's eyes popped wide with surprise. "What? No!" She scooted her chair away from him. "Whoa, I was just wondering," Ben replied defensively. You're pretty and funny. It's strange to me that you don't have a boyfriend. I liked you for a long time. Couldn't you tell? I'm 12, she chirped in disbelief. I'm not even allowed to date until I'm 16. Plus, you're like 15. You can almost drive and stuff. Well, I would kiss you, he persuaded. I'm only 3 years older than you are. That's not that much. My dad is 7 years older than my mom, and I want to be the first boy to kiss you. We don't have to tell anyone. It could be our secret, just between us. Promise. You're not a little kid, Isabella, Ben said convincingly. Isabella was unsure and feeling very overwhelmed, with a strange beating inside her chest. She wanted to run away and hide, but she didn't want to seem like a little kid. Admittedly, she was also a little excited that Ben liked her, but that just made her feel worse and even more confused. He was practically her brother. Ben's face came closer to Isabella's. She tried to pull away, but he grabbed her. She felt completely powerless, like she was going to have to give up and let him kiss her. Her thoughts began to race in so many different directions. He was bigger and stronger. She was so small. Why did he have to be so cute? Ugh, this is impossible, she thought to herself. Maybe he was right. They could kiss, just this once, and have their secret. Still, Isabella wasn't ready or prepared to make a decision like this. Come on, Isabella, you know you want to, he whispered. Suddenly, that uncomfortable feeling in her chest became a big, screaming, "What do I do?" At the Heart Defenders headquarters, the Heart Defenders sat around their control stations. Suddenly an alarm rang and Isabella's heart signal appeared on the screen in front of Elizabeth. "Oh no," Elizabeth said to her friends as she watched Ben try to kiss Isabella. "We have to stop Ben from persuading Isabella." "There is only one thing we can do," said Simon. "When we see something tricky," Elizabeth began, "we take action," Tomas continued. "Right away," finished Faith. "Because we are the Heart Defenders," they all said together, standing in a circle, each with one hand in the center. "This looks like a job for you, Elizabeth," said Simon. "You're so beautiful." Suddenly, Ben was still in his room as if he were frozen in time. "Don't do it," asserted Elizabeth. "What?" Isabella looked around. Ben was still leaning into her, making a face like he was about to kiss her. "Don't let him convince you to kiss him," said Elizabeth, stepping closer to Isabella. "I'm Elizabeth, and I'm a Heart Defender. When someone's heart sends a signal that they might be in an uncomfortable situation with a friend or family member, we come to help." "I felt it. That's why my chest is pounding. My heart was signaling for help," Isabella realized. "Isabella, you said no. What Ben is doing is called coercion. Let me show you what happens when people try to persuade you to do something you don't want to do or that you know is not the right choice." Elizabeth said, "This might be shocking, but I believe it will help you make this big decision." She pulled a tablet out of her bag and started a video. In the video, Ben was kissing Isabella even though she was telling him no and pushing him away. "Now let me fast forward," Elizabeth said, pushing a button. The next clip showed Isabella crying while Ben yelled at her. "No one would even believe you. Do you think my sister wants to be friends with a liar? Do you want to have to go to that little apartment alone all day? Do you want to get in trouble for causing all of this?" Isabella's eyes filled with tears. She never thought Ben could be so mean and act that way. She could tell he was ashamed of what he had done to her and was trying to make her feel bad enough about it that she wouldn't say anything. "Now," Elizabeth said, pushing the fast forward button again. "This is even later." Isabella watched herself alone at the lunch table at school. Then it showed her alone at home, ignoring a phone call from Madison. Next, she saw Madison crying in her room, telling Ben she just didn't understand what she'd done to make Isabella hate her so much. Finally, she watched as Ben blankly stared at itself in a school mirror, then angrily punched his reflection, sending glass everywhere. "Wow," Isabella said in shock, taking it all in. Elizabeth put her tablet away. "Now you see why you need to be strong and say no?" Elizabeth said intensely, looking Isabella in the eyes. "Yes, it's clear now, but why does he want to kiss me anyway?" Isabella asked. "You're at a very important part of your life," Elizabeth began. "You're still a young girl, but you're growing up into a woman's body. It can be a confusing time for you, making it so important to guard your heart against people who want to steal a piece of it. Ben is a teenage boy. He's going through a confusing time too and might not be thinking clearly. Deep down, he doesn't want to hurt you. But this is not appropriate, and things could quickly go too far. Okay, but what do I do? Isabella asked. Stop him. Scream. If he doesn't listen, push him off with all of your might. I don't care what it takes. Do not let him take a piece of your heart. Be aware. Make the right choice and be courageous and strong, Elizabeth explained, while demonstrating the motions. You keep saying a piece of my heart. What does that mean? Isabella asked. When someone convinces you to do something you're not ready or willing to do, it takes a piece of your heart away. Sure, it can be patched up, but it's never the same after that. The patch will remind you to avoid that kind of situation again. But that's why your heart sent out that signal. Right now you're in a bad situation. Now I'm here to teach you how to guard your heart from being hurt, Elizabeth explained. So Ben is trying to convince me to do something I'm not ready for? And I need to get away to protect my heart, Isabella said, making sense of it all. Right now, yes. He wants to kiss you so badly that he found a way to lure you away into his bedroom, so that if someone got home, he wouldn't get caught in the act. If someone tries not to get caught doing something, do you think they should be doing it? Elizabeth asked. Well, no, I guess not, Isabella replied. Then you have to protect your heart and make the right choice. It might be hard, but you have to tell Ben what your boundaries are and stick by them, she said firmly. Elizabeth continued, most of all, you have to tell someone you trust about what he tried to do. Tell someone? Elizabeth said, concerned. Yes, if you don't tell someone you trust, Ben may learn that he can do things and have no consequences, Elizabeth explained. It will also help you continue to stay protected and possibly protect others. If you don't, you may feel very sad, and other people may try to convince you to do similar things and steal more pieces of your heart, she continued. But won't he get in trouble? Isabella asked. He may, but your job is to protect yourself, not him, Elizabeth said firmly. Then her voice softened. And he may need help understanding what is and isn't appropriate too. Making the right choice, being courageous and strong may also help him. So you have to tell your story. Do you see now that protecting your heart sometimes isn't just protecting yourself? Yeah, said Isabella as she thought about it. You're right. I don't want him to kiss me right now. It doesn't feel good. I'm not ready, and he's trying to force me to, she continued. And? Elizabeth asked. And I don't want him to do this to other people, Isabella replied. So? Elizabeth asked. I'm going to protect my heart and tell people in my life who want to keep me safe, Isabella responded confidently. Do you know who those people are? Elizabeth asked. Yes. My dad, my biology teacher, Mrs. Meyer, and even my school counselor, she listed. That's the right choice, Elizabeth exclaimed, giving her a big grin. And remember, there are always going to be people who may try to take a piece of your heart. Being a teenager can make it very confusing. So keep your eyes open and your heart protected. You can do this. Isabella confidently responded. I know I can. Suddenly, time flipped back on and Elizabeth was gone. Ben's face was growing ever closer to Isabella's. He gripped her harder and pulled her in tight. Ben, Elizabeth yelled. No, get away from me. She pushed and kicked him with all her might. He flew off of her, hitting the dresser behind him. Why did you push me like that? Ben scowled at her, hurt and angry. Trust me, you'll thank me someday, she replied, running out of the bedroom door. No more video games for you, Isabella, Ben yelled after her. Fine with me, she thought to herself. She hurriedly grabbed her backpack and sprinted towards home. Just before Isabella finished climbing the stairs to her top floor apartment, forgot to show the page before. Just before Isabella finished climbing the stairs to her top apartment floor, Elizabeth appeared next to her. You look so proud of yourself, Isabella, she cheered. You left that situation with your whole heart. Yeah, Elizabeth replied a bit sadly, but I'm afraid of what this is going to do between Madison and me. She's my best friend, and I'm nervous to tell my dad because I'm afraid it will hurt people and make them mad at me. Elizabeth stopped her, looking her in the eye, and firmly said, Remember, Isabella, your dad loves you more than anyone else in this world. He can help you feel better about defending your heart, and he'll be so proud of you. If Madison is truly your best friend, she will understand too, even if she's mad in the beginning. Really? Isabella asked her, her face brightening a bit. Really, Elizabeth answered with a big smile. Okay, my dad should be home now. I'm going to talk to him. Thank you for helping me protect my heart, Elizabeth, Isabella smiled. You're welcome, Elizabeth exclaimed. The other heart defenders are proud of you too. You were aware, you made the right choice, and you were courageous and strong in that difficult situation. You're now a heart defender too. That sounds so special. What do I do? Isabella asked. Be a heart defender in any situation. When you see or feel something tricky, take action right away and help others by speaking up the way I helped you today. Welcome to the club, Elizabeth cheered, disappearing again. Isabella thought about everything Elizabeth had said. If telling your dad would help Ben so he wouldn't hate himself or continue doing the same thing with other girls trying to take pieces of their hearts, she wanted to help. Knowing she needed to be truthful with her dad, she took a deep breath and bravely told him everything. And that ends Madison's Big Brother. So I want to know what you guys think about the book. If you're curious about other books in the series, I do have a couple more. I kind of just wanted to give you guys a sample, one of each, one from the girls package and one from the boys bundle. If you have any questions about the special, please let me know. I think that it's a really great deal. 5 books for $55 plus the dish set plus the puzzle with the lunch pail and all 4 of the Heart Defender badges. I think it's a really great deal. Even better, so if you buy 2 of the bundles, and I'm not sure, I'm going to double check on this because I think you have to buy a boy one and a girl one, but I'm going to double check to make sure that you could just buy 2 girl or 2 boy or however you want to do it. So if you buy 2 bundles, you get our fantastic and wonderful Safe Hearts board game. It continues the conversation that's in these books and allows you to connect with your child on a just a different level to talk about these situations. In the game, there's cards for parents and cards for kids. So you absolutely have to play it kid with adult. We're going to try to play it a little later. My youngest son, Lucas, is 16, and he helps me out at a lot of these events, and he thinks it's also important education for kids and families, and he agreed to kind of play the game for a little bit to give you guys an idea of what the gameplay looks like. And I'm excited that Damsel is offering this right now. You know, we're all kind of stuck at home. We have limited things to do. And Damsel products usually ship between 7 and 10 business days, sometimes sooner, especially if there isn't any kind of hazardous material like pepper spray in the box. They can ship it air instead of just ground. So let me know what you think. watch the video first and then watch it with your kids or your grandkids or, niece, nephew, whoever it is that you take care of. Kids as young as 2 can understand what these books mean. Starting to talk to them as soon as they know what their body parts are and the difference between right and wrong, it's a really important stage in their development to start talking to them about their body boundaries, how to say no, and what tricky people and what tricky situations look like. So if you have any questions about the books or the special, just let me know. Of course, I'm not going anywhere, just like you guys. I'm curious to hear what you think about about the content of the books. So I think that's it for right now. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to set up this game, and my son Lucas and I are going to give it a try and see if we can't, I don't know, make it entertaining for a teenager. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care and stay safe.